Hello. Tonight's topic, the first topic that I want to start with, and it took me some time to really ask myself, what did I want to say? Where did I want to start? Who do I want to connect to? And at the end of the day, the more I try to work at putting this together and really trying to structure it, I struggled with it more. So I decided to just go with being authentic, showing up as I am, saying how I feel, and kind of seeing where that takes me. So, to be honest with you, the main goal that I have here today is just for connection, to connect, be able to offer some sense of insight, and be able to assist someone, even if just one person can take something from this and apply it, that at the end of the day would allow me to say, keep going at it. But with that, today I want to start with the topic of being emotionally uncomfortable. And the reason I want to start there is because I don't know if anyone else noticed, but it seems like there has been a surge of individuals who are stepping towards change, changing their behaviors, changing their mindset, changing their appearances. They are walking towards change. And as a provider, one of the things that I really like to push and prioritize is individualism, self-acceptance, self-awareness. So to continuously find individuals who are saying, "Hey, this is problematic. I don't like this," or, leaving toxic relationships, changing unhealthy behaviors, really doing the work at changing. It makes me feel proud. So I do want, and this includes myself, you guys will hear me share a few things about my personal experience, and really connect because I think it's very important to find yourself in another situation. So, that really helps to have that mirrored experience. Sometimes we just don't see ourselves as we should. So, with that being said, focusing on emotional discomfort, I want everyone to ask themselves, is there something currently that they can start with? Is there something that makes you feel emotionally uncomfortable? And I'm certain that many of us, will find something, several things. If you were to select that one thing and you were to ask yourself, why is it still here? Like, why does it continue to repeat? Because emotional discomfort is, it's uncomfortable. It may not cause a great deal of pain. For some, it can. And for others, not. It's mild pressure, but it's enough where it's noticeable, right? But for some reason, it still lingers. It lingers from 2024 to 2025 to 2026. And with that, it just suggests that something is not being, taken care of. No, something is being overlooked. And so that's what I want to start with. I want to talk about what's being overlooked. Is it a relationship? Is it a decision to walk away from an employer who doesn't appreciate you? Is it a family member that you've continuously given grace to, given compassion to? Hell, is it your relationship with yourself? Some people do themselves dirty. Why does it continue to persist? And I want you to ask yourself that question and be very honest. And tonight, I'm not going to, really extend it to going through the various different avenues or concepts or ideas that would be very generalized. I would like to start with myself. I'll offer myself for an example. In emotional discomfort, I notice I have the tolerance to endure. I can endure that discomfort for ages, and I have. There's some things that I've dealt with, and I held on to them, and I kept showing up the same way and dealing with it the same way for years until one day I decided that I didn't. And in order to address that, what I found that I did was I sat with the pain. I sat with the pain. I knuckled up. I got in the, I got down with it and I continued with it. And what I learned after battling with it didn't hurt. I don't think it ever actually was. It was my mindset. It's how I looked at it. I misidentified it. I didn't assess it from logic. I assessed it from emotion. I assessed it from fear. I assessed it from lack. And once I shifted my mindset, I was able to see how much strength I had, how much patience I had, how much endurance I had to really contend with it. And it's just like, well, why didn't I do this sooner? Because I was distracted. I was focusing on being a mother. I was focused on being a partner. I was focused on being a family member. I wasn't focused on being myself. I didn't sit with me enough. The more I isolate, the more I hibernate, the more I feel, and the more I assess. And I say, okay, we got to do something about it. So 2025 was definitely that for me. There was a lot of pain, a lot of learning, a lot of growth that came was 2025. And to be honest with you, some of it did find its way over to 2026, current today, but it's far lighter. It's labeled as something else. It's labeled as what it should be. It's not anxiety, it's distraction, it's avoidance. It's distorted cognitions, it's delusion. Even as a clinician, I'm human first. I experience that. I tell myself certain things to sit with it. I try to repackage it in order to hold on to it a little bit. I know it's not a gift, but I hold on to it until eventually I say I have to do something about it. So in 26, I'm doing something about it. And with everything that I just shared, in short summary, I notice everyone around me is doing something about it. And to be honest, those who are still running are being called to do something about it, because people who are doing something about it and are connected to those who aren't, they're either leaving them to have to learn to do something about it, or they're making them. And they're making them by not giving them any alternatives. They're not getting in, they're not giving, any more. People are really starting to look at themselves and really, content with themselves. They're getting in there. I see that growing with some of my experiences that I have, as a provider. And I applaud everyone who is doing the work. And that is what my main message, everything said. And I'm sorry if I ramble, a bit. I tend to be long winded. But all I'm saying in summary is find what makes you emotionally uncomfortable and contend with it. Knuckle up with it and ask yourself, once you beat it, because you will. Once you beat it, go back and assess how much strength you had all along. And it's a good thing to do this, because this is not the only battle that you'll have. You'll have other battles. There's going to be another time where you're going to want to be emotionally safe again. You're going to go right back to that same system, because you're building, you're evolving, you're growing. This is a continual evolution. So, really being able to connect all these correlations and really see yourself in your growth development is really important. So, I hope you guys are able to find something that you can find emotionally uncomfortable. And I'm hoping that you guys can find your strength and your muscle to overcome it. I appreciate everybody. And, if anybody has an opportunity to hear this, share it, spread the word, kind of adapt this to your day to day. Try to be mindful of it if it comes up. I really would like to connect and encourage others. This is really what this channel and really what the focus of my mission is going to be, is just to really help people love themselves, love others, and do the work and heal. Alrighty, this is Healing Narrative. You guys have a good one.